All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today we're going to be going over a couple Yieldmax ETFs. Specifically, today I want to talk about SQY. SQY is a stock, or an ETF, I rather should say, a Yieldmax ETF, which I've actually doubled down on my position, and I want to talk about the recent buy that I made in SQY, as it was actually a pretty decent purchase for the short term currently, but it's a Yieldmax ETF that I'm currently looking to hold for the long term. So what I want to do is I want to digest exactly how many shares I bought, at what price point that I got it at, and everything like that. And as well, because we did buy into 3 new Yieldmax ETFs. We have BABO, PYPY, and SQY. What I want to do is I want to talk about how those positions are holding up so far, if they're performing as I intended, or if they're kind of going off the rails, and what my plan is for these 3 Yieldmax ETFs. And then as well, I want to show you guys, there was a bunch of dividends released from Yieldmax very recently, so we're going to go over that too. Today is action packed with Yieldmax investments, and we're talking about many different individual ones. We're straying away a little bit from YMAX in this video, although I have it up 0.10% today, so just keeping that in mind. So if that does sound good, if you guys are interested in Yieldmax ETFs, we're up to 6,405 subscribers, 354 subscribers in the past 28 days, so that is awesome. Now let's get into this video. So I have recently made another buy in terms of SQY, and what I did was I kind of brought up my portfolio balance to about 3,000 USD. So what I did, just to kind of give you a background, was it looks like on November 21st, I bought 50 shares of SQY at $19.72. So $19.72, a pretty decent buy at that price point. I'd be up over $1 per ETF stock or ETF share. So I'd be looking at about a $50 gain. But here you can see I'm up about $100. So what I did was I pretty much more than doubled my position. What I did was I brought my position up to $3,000. I basically started with an investment of $1,300, and then what I did was I kind of evened it out to $3,000, and I bought here on December 4th, I bought 83 shares at $20.48. $20.48. We're currently up, even on that position, $20.80. So we're up a couple percent, but you could see here we were up a little bit more because SQY hit $21.12 the other day and is currently down on the day. So where do I kind of see the position from here? Well, we had a really good bullish candle right here, and you can see here that although today is bearish, it's not a bearish engulfing candle, which doesn't necessarily signal a downside. It just kind of shows a little bit of resistance in the share price, which is totally cool. Things don't always just go straight up. Of course, when you buy a stock or an investment, it's never a straight linear line. It's always a rocky road, but somehow, hopefully, it will get there. Now, I'm knocking on wood for Square, the underlying business. I think it's still in a fantastic position. It's kind of got a little bit of resistance to break through here, but if it does, it could potentially go up to $140. It's a business that's making money, and I believe in it long term. And this is a Yieldmax ETF that I've held in my other CIBC stock account, investing platform or investing account, and it's done very well for me. So I have no problems holding Square for the current time being, and we will just kind of play our position as we see the share price react. So far, I'm very happy with this position as I'm up a little bit, and it's still showing great signs of a push through to the upside. So now that we got over this position, we currently have 148 shares at an average cost of $20.14, we'll say. 148 shares, that's going to bring us a pretty decent dividend in the future. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk about the other buys as well, because I bought some BABO and I also bought some PYPY. BABO for me is actually down on my position. If we go here, we can see BABO, I'm down about $70. And for my position, I have 81 shares at an average share price of $18.30. Now, BABO actually did release a dividend today, or yesterday, I should say. And if we see that, we see it right here, which was 73 cents right here. So this loss right here is not all because of just the downside today. Of course, they released a dividend, but they are down on the day nonetheless. And if we look at the share price of the underlying company, which is Alibaba, you could see here that I purchased it about $18.23. Oh, whoops. I can go to the Yieldmax version right here. $18.23, something about here when we seen this big a decent update right here. It kind of rose a little bit, but then fell as they paid out that dividend, and the underlying company also fell. So what am I doing for Alibaba? Well, Alibaba has a support point about this $83 level. If it shoots below this $83 level, I'm not going to be buying more. And the reason being is because this is a support level. If I see it falls before here, I'm going to assume it's going to continue its downtrend, and I'll likely look to pick it up when I believe the downtrend is over. But if we see Alibaba bounce off of this $82 level and continue up, let's say into maybe the not closer to the $90 range, then I'll look to buy more BABO. So that's kind of my plan there. If it falls below $83, I'm going to hold off and see where the knife falls. But if it reacts off there well, then I'm going to buy more of the Yieldmax ETF. Now, finally, we have PYPY. And PYPY, similar to SQY, has actually been a pretty good Yieldmax investment for me so far. You can see my position. I have 53 shares at an average share price of $18.66. Keep that in mind. $18.66. We're currently up a few percent on this position. It's performed very similar to SQY, as you can see here, a pretty big bullish candle right here. And I like to see this, although it's a bearish candle, we're down 10% on the day, or not 10%, 0.10%. We were down 10%. That'd be a big down day. But you can see here, this candle is nothing crazy. It's just showing a little bit of resistance, and this is natural. As a stock price kind of appreciates over time, we're going to have little resistance days. That's totally cool. But as you can see here on the long-term trend, they're looking very nice. They definitely have a resistance here all the way up into $100. So if they're able to break that, they can potentially push to 115 and then maybe 192. So there's a lot of room for PayPal, the underlying stock, to run. And so still really liking PYPY's position. So Square, SQY and PYPY, they're both looking great to me. BABO is the one that's looking a little bit, pardon me, I'm kind of jumping all over here. BABO is the one that's kind of looking a little bit more sus to me. I got to figure this one out, but it all depends on where the price goes. If it drops below $83, I'm going to hold off. If it rebounds off, I'm going to probably buy more. And that's the best thing. As long as you have cash in your account, then you're able to take advantage of opportunities. That's something that I'm doing, and I'm buying DLR.TO, journaling my shares over, and collecting more cash as I go. So now that we got that out of the way, we also have some more Yieldmax dividends to digest. One being YMAX, and YMAX's dividend already factored into the share price. You can see a weekly dividend here of 23, we'll call it 24 cents. So YMAX, although up almost 0.2% on the day, we are down in our investing account because they have paid out and factored this dividend into the share price. So that's kind of where we're standing at right here. We also have dividends paid out, which was NVIDIA, NVDY, and DIPS, which DIPS is the short version of NVIDIA. You can see here NVIDIA doing pretty decent. Let's see how we're doing here. NVIDIA, oh, this is NVDY. We want the underlying ETF if we got that, which we do not. So I'm going to put that in right here. NVDA, fantastic. Going here because we want to see exactly how it's performing. We have both the short and we have the long-term version for the Yieldmax ETF. So let's see what's going on here. And we can see over the past 6 months, kind of slowing down in terms of growth, but that's totally okay. This is a company that has absolutely exploded over the past year, 218%. The Yieldmax bullish, which is NVDY, has obviously seen great kind of dividends from that. And then we have dips, which you could buy on the downside to kind of even that out. Am I going to do that? Probably not. I'm just kind of filling you in. Then we got another one, which is PLTY, which is Palantir. Palantir doing fantastic over the past 6 months, and the Yieldmax ETF starting at $50 all the way up to about $67. That is great appreciation, 33% over the past, we'll say 2 months here. So not even a full 6 months. So that is awesome. So this was just a little update on some Yieldmax ETFs, where they paid their dividends, how they're looking, and how my recent buys are holding up. If you guys did enjoy this video, and if you like what I have to say kind of about each ETF and the way that I'm looking to position myself, subscribe. It's free. We're up to 6,405 subscribers. We're growing every single day. And I'm just basically sharing with you guys my investing journey, how I believe I should buy these Yieldmax ETFs. It's something that I've tracked if you look through my page for the past year or more, to be honest. And I've kind of learned how these Yieldmax ETFs react. I've learned which ones are great for Yieldmax strategies, because any underlying stock that falls too hard too fast, in my opinion, is not good for a Yieldmax strategy. Examples being TSLY and Google. So Tesla and Google. But the reason why I like Square is because when we look at the price chart history, this is really the most aggressive fall here, where we went down from $72 to about $55 in a span of a month. But for the majority, Square's share price, the underlying stock, falls a little bit slower, which is nice. We don't want those aggressive falls, because when we have aggressive falls, we generally have very aggressive upsides. And we want our Yieldmax ETF to take all of the upside, because they're capped on the upside. So it's got to be slow appreciation over time and good appreciation over time. So that's just my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and getting filled in on everything with my account. Hopefully we'll see this above $40,000 soon. Totally depends where the market reacts and how the market reacts and where exactly we go. But it'll be a fun journey and I'm down for the ride. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you guys know what to do. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.